Hey everybody, welcome to How to Find and Keep Commercial Photography Clients. My name is Don Giannetti. Online I'm sometimes known as WizWow and sometimes known as other names, too impolite to mention on this show because we may have young people listening. But seriously, enough of the jokes. This is a real information-packed presentation. I want to get something straight right up front. Yes, there's going to be a premium offered. This course is going to be offered to you at the end of each of the modules. I hope you sign up, but even if you don't sign up, this presentation is for you. It's real information that you can take and get out there and start finding and keeping commercial photography clients. Now, we're focused on commercial photography clients. I'm not doing weddings and babies and maternities and what I call consumer work. If your client is your neighbor or the people across the street or the folks in your church or whatever, then this is probably not the right system for you. This is dealing with B2B, business to business, ad agencies, design agencies, corporate communications, magazines, a much smaller universe than working with consumer clients. This is focused on the commercial photographer, whether they be editorial or corporate or advertising or studio still life or fashion or what have you. It's commercial photography. Let's get that going right off the bat. I don't want there to be any mistake about that. There's going to be absolutely no selling in this video at all. I've said my piece about the premium offered at the end, so that's it. Not another word. We're going to really get into finding out how you can develop a system to build your portfolio. This is Module 1, the introduction and the portfolio. Just a brief introduction in case you didn't see the video on the home page or you blasted through to the sign up. My name is Don Giannetti. I'm a photographer, a writer, a designer, and an educator. I've had over 40 years in commercial photography, and in that 40 years, I have been totally cash flow dependent. I work on projects for clients, and I've made a living at being a photographer, except for a period of time where I was not only a photographer, but I was an art director for a major ad agency. In fact, I owned that ad agency, Ocean Integrated Media Group. We grew from a spare bedroom in my home. We grew all the way up to 20 plus employees in a very large building, and of course lots of headaches that comes with all those employees and things like that, but it was a great experience. So I have a unique position here. I've sat on both sides of the desk. I've sat on the side of the desk that is trying to get that photo job, and I've sat on the side of the desk as creative director for the agency of assigning that photo job. And I bring both of those skills to this course. There's no magic involved, no shortcuts, no secrets. And if you're looking for a fast plan to get out of debt with your photo business, commercial probably isn't it. In fact, consumer probably isn't it. In fact, I'd get a job at Walmart. It takes a while to build up in these businesses. It really does. And there's no easy button, folks. It's going to be hard work. So don't come looking for an easy solution. I've taught a couple of classes over at CreativeLIVE. You can find me in their catalog there. I have some classes at UDEMY. I have also written 3 books for Amherst Media. So I kind of know what I'm doing. I kind of want to be your mentor here and kind of help you develop some clients for your commercial photography business. In fact, I'll be really bold here and I'll say, if you do what I tell you to do here, you will find clients and you will shoot for them and you will get paid. Gotta have to have a good portfolio though. And that's our vision. Our portfolio is our vision. The power of imagery. That's the best way I can present it, the power of imagery. A photograph can make people cry, can make people laugh. It can also make people want to buy something or want to hire a service or want to go somewhere. Power of a photograph is amazing. And that's what we do in this business. We produce very powerful photographs so that people can use those photographs to sell their products or get more donations for their NGO or drive traffic to a specific website where something will happen. Business to business, we work for other companies and we create images. No secrets. Not at all. Hard work, and you learn from your failures. As a matter of fact, I'll say this. You learn more from a mistake than you learn from a success. Every failed photo attempt you try, you're going to learn a ton. The ones that go right, just right off the bat, boom, 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 you'll learn a little, no doubt about it. But everything will flow and it feels really good. Trust me on that. It does. It feels really good when everything just rocks and rolls and just goes on down. But you're going to learn from your mistakes. So don't hate your mistakes. Embrace them. Make them. Make them now at the beginning. Then you don't make them at the end. You don't make them when it counts. That's the thing. So let's look at what's in your portfolio now. Are you trying to find commercial clients? If you are, and it's working for you, I'd like to know how it is working for you, and I'd like to hear some comments back on what's working for you today in your market. But if you're not landing the commercial clients you want, or not nearly enough, maybe we need to look and see what it is we're showing in our books, because our portfolio is our calling card. Our portfolio is our credibility. It's us. When someone's looking at our online portfolio on the website, it's us. We're not there, but it represents us. So let me ask you, what's in your portfolio? Is it work that really should be there? Is it work that shows clients you can do for them something they need done? Is it work that brings together your style, your technical expertise, and all of the magic that you bring to photography? Or is it a collection of photographs that you think are good? A collection of photographs is generally what we see in a lot of portfolios when someone's starting out to be commercial. And there's reasons, and we're going to go into those reasons, but a collection of photographs just says, I take good pictures. And in the commercial realm, that's just not enough. Do your images live up to the needs of your clients? Or do they live up to the needs that your clients would like to have? You may not even know who your clients are yet. Okay, that's fair. We're going to get to that. This whole course is going to cover how to find clients. Right now, we're going to get prepared for where our portfolio needs to be so that we can go out and find those clients. Are the pictures in your book relevant to the type of work you want to do? That's a very, very important question. What kind of work do you want to do? Do you know yet? Is it, I want to shoot fashion? Well, okay, let's take fashion. If you want to shoot fashion, can you describe in detail Christian Dior's last 2 years of fashion and what made them different than Vera Wang? Because if you can't, you just want to shoot girls. Hard to be blunt and that harsh. Just don't have a lot of time to beat around the bush. Just want to shoot girls. See, fashion is fashion. Girls is girls. If you want to shoot girls, great. If you want to shoot fashion, you better understand fashion. You see, if you wanted to shoot sports cars, and I asked you to describe a 1967 Cobra, Shelby Cobra GT, you could. But if you want to shoot fashion and you don't know the difference between Dior and Vera Wang, maybe you need to study fashion more to add to your skill set. Do you want to shoot still life? Do you like quiet studios, taking your time, making images with utmost detail? Do you like product photography? Product photography is lots of technical expertise brought into play, and sometimes hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars are on the line. It's very stressful. It's very fun. Do you like portraits, editorial portraits, shooting for magazines? A lot of push there, a lot of excitement, lots of adrenaline. The actor said he's going to give you 20 minutes for the photograph. The magazine is depending on that cover shot. The actor's 15 minutes late, doesn't make any difference. Now you got 5 minutes, and you've got to make a shot that's going to go on the cover of that magazine that has a couple of million people subscribe to it. Your butt's on the line all the time. It's that adrenaline rush sometimes, I think, that makes commercial photography so much fun. So take a look at your portfolio, pull out a piece of paper, or use the PDF that's included here called Image Uses, and take each shot you have currently in your portfolio and write down where you think that photograph could have been used, where it could be used, for what kind of ad, for what kind of product, for what kind of service, for what kind of magazine. Write it down. Don't worry if you can't think of one. That's the point. Sometimes our portfolios are full of photographs we really can't use commercially, aren't even designed to be used commercially. A body of work versus a collection of images. A collection of images will inspire your friends to say, wow, you're a really good photographer. Your mom's going to love you. Your wife or your husband are going to go, wow, dear, you're good with a camera. Co-workers will just think, wow, he's got a great camera. She really must have some good equipment. We've heard that before, right? But a body of work goes one step further. A body of work starts to reveal who you are, how you solve problems, how you create visual solutions to imaginary problems sometimes. And how you do that is your style. And your style should flow through your body of work. A body of work probably doesn't consist of a butterfly shot, a landscape, a cool sunset, a portrait of a baby, a fashion shot of a girl who's 5'3", a car shot, another butterfly shot. That's not a body of work. That's a collection of images. We all start with a collection of images. Why? Because we don't know what we're going to shoot yet. We're just having fun with the process. We're just having fun being photographers, making cool photographs. That's not enough. In commercial, we've got to now show somebody that if they hire us, we are going to be able to fashion an image that looks like this. And here's my 15 editorial portraits and my 15 editorial still lifes to show you that I love using backlight with a little flare, or I'm a front light shooter, or I use a flash right off camera, or I have a distinctly humorous way of working. My images are toned all in the blue greens. My images have a feeling of the moment, a very instantaneous, freewheeling view. And all of them do. Not just one, all of them. Now, where photographers get in trouble is they start thinking, well, yeah, but I want to show somebody I can do everything. Every time that thought comes into your mind, I want to show somebody I can do everything. I want you to pull out a big spoon, one of those wooden stirring spoons, and whap yourself right upside the head. No, you don't want to be all things to all people. You don't. By the way, I think I'll have a sale on those spoons later. I think I could use one myself now and then because we all say it. Oh, well, I better do this because this is what they want to see. We don't want collections of images. We want bodies of work. So I've put 8 photographers here for you to click on so that you can go see what a body of work looks like. Some of the photographers are new to the scene, Ryan, Scott, Chris. Some of the photographers are longtime shooters: Sarah Moon, Albert Watson, Joel Grimes, V.K. Rees, and Adam Voorhees, both a couple of folks who've been shooting for a couple of years with great personal styles. You must go and see it. You'll see the difference between a collection of images, like most of us have when we first start out, and what a body of work looks like. This is where your portfolio has to go. We call it a vision-based portfolio, by the way, because it's a body of work based on your vision. We're going to prepare your brain for a vision-based portfolio before you grab the camera, before you go out the door with your box of lights or what have you. We're going to be really, really ready. And the way we're going to do that is what I call the Faux Tolio, the Faux portfolio exercise. We're going to create a portfolio of other people's work that you wanted to do. Okay? So we're going to find a good selection of magazines. These are local, regional, state magazines where you are. We're going to start locally. We'll spread nationally later. But for now, let's find out what's going on in your town, in your area. If you're quite rural, you're probably going to have to dial in a city that's the closest one to you. If you're out in the middle of Colorado somewhere, then probably Denver is going to be your slot, or unless you're closer to another city in another state. But that's what you're going to do. You're going to go and grab those magazines, and hit the magazine rack at the local Barnes & Noble or what have you, and pull those magazines. Going to invest a few bucks in magazines, and you can take them home, and you're going to start cutting out images that you would have loved to take. Not that you think you should take because it's really lucrative. Taking pictures of really makes a lot of money, so I should do no, not at all. What pictures would you have loved to take? Okay, so you go through it and you see a picture and it's a still life, and you think, God, I love that shot. I'd love to do that. Maybe you've never done still life, but you really are attached to it. Great, tear it out. Take a X-Acto knife, scissors, whatever, tear it out. I want you to do this until you have 30 or 40 shots ripped out of magazines. Try for full-page ads, half-page ads if necessary, quarter-page ads and stuff, forget it. We're not going there. Just do ads the first time through. Just ads, okay? Now we're going to go back through and grab the editorial images. These are the shots that the magazine has hired the photographer to do to accompany a story. Usually, the images accompany a story. 15 best bed and breakfasts on the Oregon coast. 17 ways to get your abs looking great before summer. Fashion in the Adirondacks. I don't know. But usually there's stories by the magazines and they hire a photographer. That's editorial. You are creating images for stories. So take those shots and cut those out now. Which editorial stories did you really, really think, I really could have done that? Now, once you've gotten these two stacks of pictures, 30 or so ads, 30 or so editorial shots, I want you to go through them and start to ask yourself a few questions. Could you shoot those images?
Where are the dogs?
Could you make those shots with the gear you currently have? With the access to people you currently have? With the access to locations? Do you have the ability? Does it look like they used a lot of strobes and you're not really there yet? Given your skill set, your accessibility, and your current gear, could you do that photograph today? If not, why not? Write it down. Told you we're going to use a notebook in this thing, folks, and we really, really are going to use a notebook because I believe in kinesthetic learning. You're going to hear it from me. You're going to see it from me. In the premium version, there's a whole lot more video, but you're going to see it from me here, and you're going to think about it as you write it down. You're going to learn it all different ways, and that's important. I want you to deconstruct the images. How were they lit? How were they produced? Any Photoshop stuff that you can instantly see? Is it done well? What makes the image work? Write it down. We're going to be thinking about photographs now. We're preparing our head for making images by really spending the time going through what we have to go through to become photographers. There's no shortcut. Sorry if you thought there was going to be. I want you then to take a photograph that you have that might be similar to one of the photographs there, or if you don't have one, I want you to think about how you would do one. Say, well, if I had this shot, if I was going to shoot this still life or this product shot with this person, I would have done it this way. And tell me why. It might be a good reason. It might not be a good reason. It may just be your way's different. That's okay. Just tell yourself and the world on paper why your shot would have been better. Because if it's not better, what's the point? Pick a photograph, pick an image that you want to redo, and then redo it. You pick an image from the portfolio and say, okay, this is a whiskey shot in an old saloon. I can do this image. Go do a whiskey shot in an old saloon. It's not copying, folks. There's 10,000 whiskey shots in old saloons out there. You're not copying. You're going to do it your way. You're not going to take the tear sheet with you and go, okay, well, I have to put the whiskey here and I have to put the bottle. No, that's not the point. You're not going to light it the same way, probably. You're not going to have the same whiskey. You're not going to have the same saloon. Nothing. Can you do that shot? Can you do a really cool shot that works? Is there type on the photograph? Are you prepared to leave room for that type? Ad photography, commercial photography, got a lot of things to think about. I want you to then do that shot. Your way, your gear, your vision. Do that enough times to start to build your vision with images, types of images. Let's put it that way. Types of images that you already know sell. We already know whiskey in the old bar sells because someone's used it. We already know that a young lady standing next to a farming equipment sells because someone's used it. Is your shot of the young lady next to the farming equipment better than the one that's in the magazine? Better be. Your image, I call this practical observations. This is where a lot of photographers get, kind of hung up. I mean, I'm one of those guys that, when people start going on and on and on about, the sharpness of this image or sharpness of that image and, which lens is better at what, my eyes glaze over because I just don't care. The image moves me, great. Is the image technically proficient? This is your technical proficiency. Up to you. You're the one that sets the guidelines. Is it color correct? Is it sharp? We don't have any of those little black dust spots all over it, right? Does the Photoshop look believable, or have you turned the skin to plastic? Any shadows that are so deep that nothing is seen there? Because remember, when you put this onto a magazine page and they print it, if it's a pure black on your file, it's going to look like crap on the magazine. Can't have that. The magazine's not going to have a page with 4.5 inches of nothing but black ink on it because there's no detail to record. Is it composed, framed, put together exactly the way you want it? Great. You got it. But remember, there's no excuses. None. Zero. Nada. No way is there an excuse. It's either a great image or it's not. Does the image represent your style? Okay. Is it an authentic you picture? That's what I'm trying to get at. Is this an authentic you picture? One that if someone looked at it and said, who took that picture? And another person said, oh, Don took that picture. They go, oh yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh yeah, that's Don's style. Oh yeah. Doesn't mean it has to be unique, folks. Does not mean it has to be unique. There are many, many people who shoot in similar styles. Just means it has to be authentic to you. How do you know it's authentic to you? Because it's what you love to do, and it's what you do given every opportunity. We're not imitating anybody. There's no desire to do that. We don't have any goals in mind for you to copy somebody, so please don't think we're going there. This is a really important part of it too. Does your image solve a problem? Doesn't have to be a huge problem. Doesn't have to be like, oh, my image solved global warming. No. Does your image solve a problem? If you put 3 people in an image, you've solved a problem. Getting 3 people to relate to each other well, you've solved a problem. You put a glass of beer in each one of their hands, and the beer still looks good when you shoot it, you've solved another problem. You've got a cooler with a bunch of beers in it and some beer cans sitting on the truck, and the label shows on all of them, you solved another problem. Got some backlight coming in without blowing out the highlights, you've solved another problem. Do you see my point? Standing your friend next to a blue wall and taking a picture with available light may not solve enough problems. Doesn't mean you can't have that shot, because it may be a great shot on its own. It may be a fantastic shot in your body of work, but you better also show that you can solve problems, because commercial photography is one problem after another, after another, after another that we have to fix. Wedding photography, you go out and you shoot the wedding. I'm not making a value judgment here, so if any wedding photographer is starting to get butthurt, that's not what I'm saying, so don't go there. I'm not saying it's easier. I'm not saying anything. You don't have the criteria. You've just got to make a beautiful shot. That's hard enough in itself, trust me. Hard enough in itself just to make a beautiful shot. Got that. But when you have to make a beautiful shot and leave this corner open for text, and it has to have this kind of lighting, and oh, by the way, the shadows can't be too dark and the highlights can't be blown out, and oh, by the way, it has to fit this brand vision, it's different set of circumstances. You might be having to shoot a square. That is the image. When you're shooting wedding, you can make a square out of it, you make a vertical, whatever. You don't have those constraints already put on you. Is it an interesting photograph? I think that's one of those things right at the end, you ask this question, it's like, oh wow, it's really sharp. It's color correct. There's no dust spots. It's right in my style, and I've solved a problem. Cool. Is it interesting? Because if it fails the interest test, none of the rest of it matters. Is it an interesting photograph? Is it a photograph that someone wants to look at, or will look at, or will love, or will look at and want to go and spend money at that store? Yeah, that's what we're talking about here. Do it again and again and again and again. And again. I call it being deliberate with your work, by the way. When we are commercial photographers, horizon lines matter, point of view matters, edges matter, sharpness matters. I could sit here for another 20 minutes. We have to be very deliberate. What we can't say is, oh, I didn't see that in the photograph. Oh, I missed that. Because that's the only thing we have to do, is see. That is the only thing we have to do. We have to see. So every image you produce, you run through that checklist again. Is it technically proficient? Is it in your style? Does it solve a problem? And is it an interesting photograph? You can do this with photographs that are already in your book. You can do this with pictures you took last year. You can do this with pictures you took 5 years ago. Just follow the criteria. Does it meet that criteria? We'll decide if it goes in the book later, but does it meet the criteria for the folder that says portfolio maybes? I don't know. That's gonna be a question for you to answer. I always talk about the epic save photograph. This is what we also call bringing the baggage along. Bringing the baggage along is how how do you say it? It's a great photograph. It's a good photograph. Let's put it that way. It's a good photograph. That you remember how hard it was to take. Okay? So the makeup artist was late. Model was hungover. The stylist forgot her kit. Somebody stole your lighting gear out of your back of your truck. The weather didn't hold. Nothing helped. Nothing went right. And at the end, the light come out just a little bit, just peeped over the top of a cloud, and you kind of snapped it, and oh, damn, you saved the day. All that stuff that you bring to that photograph, you look at it and go, oh, man, I really saved the day. I'm all that in a slice of turkey pie. I don't know what turkey pie is. Just came out. Anyway, you think you're that good. Oh, this is a great photograph. And you showed it to everybody. Everybody on the shoot goes, wow, man. Because they have all that same baggage, right? Oh, man, we pulled it off, man. Dude, you did it. You rocked it. Okay, great. Take all that baggage away and look at the picture. Did you still rock it? Or is it just an okay shot? Because nobody cares about all the crap you went through. Nobody cares. Just the way it is. It's a good image or it's not a good image. Be done with it. When you're going through your images, I call it brutal honesty. With a dash in between. Brutal honesty. The reason is you have to be brutal with your edit. You have to be very, very concerned with all of those criteria. Does it work? Is the image interesting? Is it technically proficient up to your level of proficiency? What means proficient to you? All of that matters. But at the end, if it's not a good photograph, you have to take it out. But if there's a photograph that maybe doesn't meet this criteria, but you love it, you're going to stand by it. Maybe it falls down on one of these things. Maybe it's terribly interesting, but it's not really technically proficient. You have to believe in that image. If your gut says, this is my image, then you believe in that image. Absolutely. I have a folder on my desktop called Portfolio Possibilities. And whenever I'm working on a shot, whether it's personal project I did on the weekend or it's a client job, and I see something, I think, wow, that shot should be in my portfolio. Very first thing, that shot should be in my portfolio. Boom, I drop it over into that folder. I do not censor myself. At the moment I think that shot should be in my portfolio, I put it in Portfolio Possibilities. I do not sit and go, well, maybe, but what if I don't know, let me, we'll run it through the list later. Right now I'm busy editing and I don't want this image to get away, so I move it over right now. And then for me it's every month or sooner than that. When I have some time, I go through it and pull it out and start looking at it through those eyes of the criteria, the list. Is it proficient? Blah, blah, blah. I do all that stuff because I want to know now. And I've got these images sitting over there, and they attracted me when I first did the post on them. So now I want to know if there's something there. And by the way, I always move over the PSDs, not just JPEGs, PSDs, because you want to be able to work with them later. And of course the PSD is going to have the same number, so you can go back and find the RAW in case you have to process it RAW just a little bit different. If it's an image you're not sure of, I put it in Lost Ones. That's a folder inside my folder. This is on the monthly or bi-weekly edit, by the way, folks. So this is after I've gone into them. I'm just looking at just my pictures in Portfolio Possibilities. If there's one, I just kind of go, I'm torn. I'm like, I kind of like it, but I'll put it in the Lost Ones. We'll come back later. Maybe it's a shot that fits all that criteria, but except for maybe my style. Maybe it's not really a stylistically me shot, but it's a cool shot, and we'll find out later. We'll just put it in Lost Ones for right now and see what happens. Once I've done this, I print the pictures. Now you can print them on your little inkjet printer. I do 4x6s, inkjet print them. You can gang them up in Photoshop and do that with them. Put 2 on a page. They have those printing modules where you can put 4x6s on a page coming right out of a folder. That's pretty cool. You can do anything you want to do. Just get them into 4x6. Take them down to Sam's Club, Walmart, Costco. It doesn't matter. Little cheap 4x6 prints, because you're going to start working with those prints for your portfolio. Patient impatience, or impatient patience. We can be patient knowing that this is going to take some time. We can be impatient by not wasting time getting it done. You're not going to be a commercial photographer in a month. That doesn't mean that you go, oh, well, I'll just shoot 2 pictures a month and be done with it. No, you be impatient, creating the work you need, and patiently putting it together to be the best work that you can have. If you want to do something that's kind of fun, score your body at work. Now, if you want to do this before you've done all the other stuff here, be my guest. Before you go in and do the Photolio and start to really edit your pictures, you're just going through this thing for the first time and you think, well, let me pull out my current portfolio and look through it. Go ahead and look through it, make some notes, and then score the entire portfolio. Technically exceptional, representing style, solving problems, and interesting. Okay? See where you come up. We edit for our vision. We do not edit for what we think someone else wants to see, because that will be an epic fail every single time you try it. I've been in rooms with multiple art directors, and one art director will say, you know, direct mail's dead. Don't ever send direct mail. We never look at direct mail. And then, not skipping a beat, they go on to the next panelist who says, you know, if you want to reach me, direct mail is probably the best way. And then the next one says, you know, we look at direct mail now and then, but email marketing, that's how my staff and I really connect with photographers. The next guy goes, oh, we don't do email. So who the hell are you going to listen to? Which one of those is going to be your choice? Obviously, you're told to do direct mail, but don't do direct mail, or direct mail kind of work, but email, that's the really great thing that'll help, except that if you do it, you're dead. It's insane out there. You just have to do what you want. Same thing with images. Every time you think you're going to second guess what someone else wants to see, you're gonna be wrong. I put money on it. I might lose now and then, but I'll come way ahead in the end. I'll be way, way ahead. We can't know what they want to see. We're never going to know what they want to see. We're only going to know what we do best. And that's what we put in. And understand, you're going to show it to art director A and he's going to go, yeah, okay. And you're going to show it to art director B and they're going to go, wow, this is pretty cool. And you're going to show it to art director C and he's going to go, no. And art director D and he's going to go, wow, this is great. Come back to the art department. Let's talk about this job coming up. Now, if you had changed your portfolio from the 2 previous that went, no. If you had changed it, you go, oh, well, I better make it so it's something they like. What do you think the chances of the last guy who loved the work just the way it was is going to be excited about it? 0. You lost. Epic fail. Big bang. Don't do it. Be consistent. We're going to call a thing the mini portfolio, your body of work. Lay the images out, those 4x6s, lay them out so you can look at all of them. Take in the whole group view. Put them on a table, stand on a chair. Put them on the floor, stand on the ground. You want to look down and see all 30 or 40 4x6s that you've chosen, or 60 or 80 that's ended up in your now I'm going to make a portfolio folder, so you can start to move them around. You're going to look at all 80 of them at one time. Doing it on the computer where you go, image, 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 and then you have to go back 3 images and you go forward 2 images. Don't do that. Take them all in with one view. Now these images made it through to your portfolio thing. They may not make it through the final portfolio, so that's why we're not going to throw them out. We're going to cull them. We're just going to pull the shots that just say, not me. We're going to put them in a different folder. Because we may need those someday. We may grow to like them. We may need them to fill a hole. Right now, they're not working, but they're good shots because they met all our criteria, but they're not working in this current portfolio. We don't want to throw them away. Just want to move them aside. They make great blog post images, by the way. Fantastic blog post images, all of that stuff. Plus, you're going to have some A and B portfolios, so lots of reasons to have them. We're just working on your main portfolio right now. Remember that epic save image we were talking about? If it made it through to the portfolio, you're going to have to take it out here, cull it out, and see what happens. Choose the images and putting them up in the lineup. In other words, which image comes first? The lineup is really, really important. Some of it's magic, some of it's intuition, some of it's science. I'm going to let you read this on your own. Some photographers will tell you, well, I put all my black and whites together. Other photographers don't do that. You can go through portfolios online and see that they don't do that. Some say, well, we're going to put I'm going to put all my people pictures in one and all my still life in another one. Sometimes they mix them together. Sometimes they do all story-based images. Sometimes they do a thing called portfolio, where you put the best 30 to 40 images that you have in your portfolio, like the click button on your website says portfolio. Doesn't say people or product or still life, it says portfolio. And that's the best 40 shots, 35 shots that you've done overall. Now those pictures are still, you still have one that says people, product, and still life, and some of those still lifes that are in your portfolio are in your still life collection, but you've also got some to surround it that are still lifes that aren't in your portfolio. Maybe it's older work, maybe it's work that is in a changing style. Maybe it's just work that isn't as new anymore. Some photographers, by the way, they do that new work. That's another way of saying portfolio, new work. So all the new stuff goes in. Might be a still life and some portraits and some headshots and a product shot, but it's a new work. So they organize it that way. Okay, I have a method that I think works pretty well, and that is to make sure that when you're showing your images that they flow into each other, that there's some sort of relationship. As best I can do that. And sometimes that relationship can be very jarring. We're going to go from X right over to M. We're going to go from minimalist to blast, because we've got 5 other blast photographs that we're going to put kind of together, and we just had 4 minimalist shots, so we're going to boom, and then we're going to slap it. Now if we have some in between shots, maybe they're, we have minimalist, we have semi-minimalist, and we have blast, we can fill that in. It's any way you want to do it, but you really, really have to move things in order that it flows. This is time consuming. This is very time consuming. You're going to make some decisions on, are you going to have borders around them? Are they going to be borderless? Are they going to be small pictures in a negative space? Are they going to be 2 spreads wide? All of these choices are something you're going to have to make, and you're going to have to make them with style and believability. It's your website. It's your portfolio. If you want to find ways to really build your book as you're working, this has to do with as you're working. I call it the $10,000 job. You treat every job that you get like it's a $10,000 job. If it's a little still life for a corner boutique, it's going to run a half page in a local magazine, and it's a $350 job, you make a photograph that's worth $10K. I'm not asking you to go into your pocket. I'm not saying, well, they didn't have any money for a great location, so I popped $600 for this location, so I only lost $300 on the shoot. I'm not asking you to do that. I'm asking you to say, if this is the shot and this is the criteria, take whatever time and assets you have and make the best photograph you possibly can, because down the road, nobody cares that your client didn't have a big budget. They only care about the photograph that you're showing them. That tear sheet, that proof of concept that you can indeed do a really awesome photograph. This has got to be, well, a really awesome photograph. Never say the client isn't paying me enough to do an awesome photograph, because they are paying you absolutely enough to make an awesome photograph. You know how I know that? Because you agreed to the fee. You didn't say, oh, well, yeah, for that fee I can do some crap. Would they hire you? Hey, you know what? I do really awesome photographs, but for $500, I'll do some crap for you. Hey, no problem. I'm happy to do the crap, because you're hiring me to do this photograph, and your restaurant depends on it. But you're not paying me enough to do a really good photograph, so I'm going to do some real crap for you. So just letting you know. You good with that? Do you think they'd be good with it? Of course not. Why would you even bother? So if they're going to offer you $500 for the shot, or $300, or $100 on a meal, I don't know what it is. I don't care. Whatever it is, you give them a $10,000 photograph. You take the time, bust your butt, give the effort 100% and more to make a perfect shot, because that shot means more to you than it does to them. At this point in your career, it means more to you. Pro bono projects are great. I always jump at the opportunity for pro bono. Now, I have a couple rules with pro bono that you may not have luxury of having if you're just starting out, but at this point, I have a couple of rules. If y'all going to tell me what to do, it ain't pro bono. If you go, oh, we want you to do this pro bono shot, and you have got to do this, and you've got to do that, and you have to do it on boom, and you have to here, and then here's all these rules, and there's an art director who's breathing over your shoulder, so that when I'm done with this photograph, I've got their photograph instead of mine. That's a job, folks. That's exactly what a job is. That's going to be paid. Pro bono, you're going to trust me to not, I'm not going to do something inappropriate, but I'm going to come up with something that I love, that you're going to love to help your business. You're not going to come up with something that you love and I hate. And believe me, in commercial photography, you do a lot of work that you never put in your portfolio. But I'm not going to bother doing that pro bono. If it's a pro bono job, it's going in my book. So you either stay out of my way or pay me money. When you're first starting out, you're going to have to get a few of them under your belt. Why? What did I say at the beginning of this stuff? You'll learn more from your mistakes than you do your wins. In this case, they're going to pay you on-the-job training by giving you access to things you may never have had access to. You may have, I know a photographer who did a lot of pro bono work for NGOs, churches, and he ended up traveling the world for 2 years doing assignments for this faith-based organization. And he came back, and after his 2 years gig was up, he had a portfolio that was outstanding and began instantly working in the travel business. So, there you go. The last way, personal projects. If you're not working currently on a personal project, what is wrong with you? Personal projects are those things that make us photographers. I wrote an article once that said, first you have to be a photographer. It was in response to people whining about, I can't make any money in this business. Yeah, you can if you're a photographer, But we're not going to train you to be a photographer. You have to be a photographer first. Can you imagine someone saying, it's not fair? The symphony was looking for an oboe player and they didn't hire me. Well, did you play oboe? No. Well, they could have trained me. No, see, if you're going to get hired by the symphony, first you're going to be an oboe player. First, you're going to be an oboe player. That means getting an oboe and learning how to play the notes on it, which is really hard, and learning how to read music for oboe, which is really hard, and learning how to hold your mouth in that position, which is really, really hard. You're going to have to go through all that crap before you're an oboe player and they put a piece of music in front of you and play it. Then they'll consider you for the symphony if you're really good. But if photographer's like, well, I got a camera. Well, I got 5L lenses. Man, I'm red stripe all the way, baby. It doesn't matter. Are you a photographer? Can you make technically proficient images? Are they interesting? Are they in your style? That's being a photographer. So personal projects are where you get to create your work your way, your style. It's where you get to be a photographer, capital P. It's fantastic. So there's a lot of work here to do on this, and there's some PDF downloads just below the video here for you to help, for you to print out, help you through the process here. And time to get to work on that portfolio. Next video, we're going to talk about channels, verticals. If you don't know what they are, you're going to be surprised. This is going to open your eyes so big. You're going to start to say, ooh, wait a minute. I can find clients. You're going to have the portfolio. So now let's go find the clients to go with that portfolio. See you next time. And have a great rest of your day, folks. Days are too short. Make everyone count.